Hello! Far to the land of castles we go, and today's journey is to the kingdom of Ruritania. This novel is called The Prisoner of Zenda, and it's written by Anthony Hope. Anthony Hope was born in London in 1863. At the beginning, he wrote in his spare time, producing a number of short stories. Then he took up writing full-time. In 1894, he wrote the enormously popular The Prisoner of Zenda. This novel concerns the adventures of Rodolphe Rezendel in the fictional land of Ruritania. As you can see, this is the map of Ruritania, and as I told you before, it's a fictional kingdom. The capital city of Ruritania is Strelso. You can also see Zenda, which is a town 50 miles from the capital, and where our novel took place. Here are the main characters of our novel. Rodolphe Rezendel, a red-bearded young Englishman. His red hair and large straight nose are reminders of an old scandal involving the wife of a Rezendel ancestor and Ruritanian prince of the Elfberg family, Lady Rose, his sister-in-law, and she was a pretty and wealthy woman. Rodolphe, king of Ruritania, he looks like an identical twin of Rezendel, except that he has shaved off his beard. He's a heavy drinker, by the way. Michael, Duke of Strelso, King Rodolphe's half-brother, called Black Michael, who wishes to be king of Ruritania and will do anything to achieve his aim. George, a friend of Rodolphe, and he loves Antoinette. Antoinette de Mauban, she's a rich, beautiful widow in love with Michael. She was rich, but wanted to improve her social status. Johann, one of the forest guards. Colonel Sept and Fritz, they are the servants of Prince Rodolphe. Sword, a kind of weapon with a long thin blade. Responsibility, something which is your duty to do or look after. Coronation, a ceremony for the crowning of a king or a queen. Tour, a visit to see a place or some places and then return again. Intention, something a person plans or has decided to do. Border, the dividing line between two countries. Lodge, a small building at the entrance to a rich person's estate. Here is the summary. To his sister-in-law, Lady Rose, Rodolphe is a great disappointment. In the first place, he is 29 years old and has no useful occupation. Second, he bears such a great resemblance to the Elfbergs, the ruling house of Ruritania, which always reminds Rose of the old scandal. More than 100 years before, a prince of the country of Ruritania had visited England and had become involved with the wife of one of the Rezendel's men. A child was born who had the red hair and the large straight nose of the Elfbergs. Since that event, 5 or 6 descendants of the English lady and the Ruritanian prince have had the characteristic nose and red hair of their royal ancestor. Rose finds Rodolphe's red hair and large nose a disgrace for that reason. Rezendel himself, however, has no concern over his resemblance to the Ruritanian royal family. But a new king was to be crowned in that country within few weeks, and Rezendel decided to travel to Ruritania for the coronation just to get closer view of his unclaimed relatives. Realizing that his brother and sister-in-law will try to prevent him from taking the journey if they know his plans, he told them that he was going to take a tour in the Alps. His first stop was Paris, where he learned something more about affairs in the country he was to visit. The new king, also called Rodolphe, Duke of Strelso, Michael would have liked to become the king, and it was hinted that he will try to prevent the coronation of Rodolphe. Rezendel also knew that there was a beautiful lady, Antoinette de Mauban, who loves Michael. She too was traveling to Ruritania for the coronation. When he reached Ruritania and found the capital city crowded, Rosendal took lodging in Zenda, a small town approximately 50 miles from the capital, and prepared to travel to the capital by train for the coronation. Zenda is part of Michael's domain. His hunting lodge is only a few miles from the inn where Rosendal was staying. Rosendal also knew that King Rodolph was a guest at his half-brother hunting lodge while waiting for the coronation. Before the coronation, Rosendal took a walk every day through the woods near Michael's hunting lodge. One day, near the lodge, he heard two men discussing his close resemblance to the king. The men introduced themselves as Fritz and Colonel Sapt, faithful friends of King Rodolph. While the three men were talking, the king himself appeared. The king and Rosendal were identical in appearance. The king was happy to meet Rosendal, his new brother, and he invited him to the lodge. The king drank so much because the wine was wonderful. Fritz tried to stop the king, but he couldn't, and he went on drinking himself. The king received a dusty old bottle of wine from Duke of Strelso as a sign of his love. The king drank so much wine, then he fell asleep. Fritz and Sapt couldn't wake him up the next morning, which was the day of the coronation. They thought there was a drug in the last bottle of wine which caused such heavy sleep. To be continued. But now I just want you to try to answer the following questions. Thank you so much for watching.